Yes, you can start now.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Renuka, and welcome everyone in this session. The topic of today's session is deforestation, addressing deforestation, strengthening carbon sink. So I think this is a very important global topic and in local topic as well. And thank you so much for attending all the participants. I think while we'll do this session, so the participant will be joining, so that will be fine for us. And for today's sessions, just I want to give you a brief overview of the session, and then we'll start. So we'll start with a welcome. So I have a core team leader. So Victoria, she's not here. Hope she will be joining soon. And we have very short introductions of all the participants, so we have very few, so we can spend like 2 to 3 minutes for introduction. So that's the one thing. And then I would request Dr. Renuka to do the opening session, then somebody from Nigeria to do opening. I think it's Mary. So as Renuka says, Mary, she will do some introduction, opening session. Then we'll introduce our moderator. So and I'll hand over moderator moderator to start the program to facilitate the session for the speakers. And today we have around 7 speakers. So I've seen a couple of speakers right now. Then we'll have some question and answer sessions. Then we'll have some way forward. So how we collaborate, how we work together in the future. And then a very small short closing remark from Dr. Renuka. So that's the agenda for today. So beginning with the introduction. So let's start from my side. So my name is Ujjwal Amate. So I'm from Nepal. Nepal is a very small country. So it's between India and Nepal, India and China. So last time when I talked with Victoria, she didn't know about Nepal. So very small country. So it's very beautiful country. So with all the mountains and river at the back, it's a river. So currently I'm working as a missionist, as a country director. And my area of interest is forestry. So I studied forestry, and that's why I choose this subject, deforestation. So that's my very area of interest. So that's my introduction. I'll do small. I'll also present us a short topic on a community forestry, how we are doing Nepal, especially for reforestation. So that I will share. So maybe other can start for the introduction here. So you are muted. Uh, So other can start. So voluntarily. So yeah. So just 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes. Yeah. So Victoria, you are there. You can start as a team leader. Your introduction. Victoria. Okay. Then Khalid, you can start your introduction. Then Khalid. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I'm sorry. I'll change the extension.
Can you introduce yourself? Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
yes, yes. My name is Khalid Hamid. I'm calling from Cairo, Egypt. I'm actually educator and also member in UNESCO and United Nations. And also, I'm so happy to be here also this event and become a member in Global Sustainability Future Network with Dr. Ranuka. That's my pleasure to be here to support more for education, and also I hope I can deliver something useful for all youth around the world, especially Africa. For that, I'm here. I attend also very wonderful event before with Dr. Inoka. Actually, it was in Pakistan and also one in Egypt and also in Kenya, now in Nigeria. And I think that's not the end, we just a start. It's my pleasure to to attend this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Khaled, for saying that's not the end, it is just a start.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So even I tried to join the mini event, but I missed the Egypt one. I was out of Kathmandu, so yeah, that's why. Yeah. Yeah. So
That's
Victoria.
okay. We
So
have recording, so you can
yes,
listen
yes.
at your own time.
Yes. So Victoria, so do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe next then. So Agaba, because it's very difficult to pronounce the name. So I will ask pardon for that. Sorry for that. So Agaba, you can introduce yourself.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
This is Agaba Albert from Uganda, and
we couldn't hear you well. We can't hear you well, Agaba. Can you speak a little bit louder?
I'm saying that I'm Agaba Albert, and I'm speaking from Uganda, and I'm very happy to be part of this summit. I think my session will be in the afternoon, where I will deliver towards this building in the Global South. Thank you.
Thank you. So Ambassador Itop, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, good morning all from Nigeria. Please kindly permit my video to be on mute, for now.
Okay.
Yes, I am Ambassador Etob Nathaniel. I'm an environmental consultant. I am living in Nigeria. I am from Nigeria. I just joined. I think this is just an introduction. So if it's just an introduction, I wouldn't want to take us so long. So I am a representative of Africa Institute of Waste Management and Environmental Studies. My environmental group is Eco Defenders. We create awareness, climate change awareness, environmental sustainability awareness around our locality, around schools. I'm glad to be part of this conference today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you, Ambassador. You have been a great intervener yesterday, and we would like you to be that active today as well. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Asmita.
Thank you, my grateful.
Asmita Joshi. Can you introduce yourself, Asmita? Zoom. Okay, she has a problem with the mic. So let's go with Balik Khan from Pakistan.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. First of all participants welcome to this important meeting. I am very happy to attend this opportunity. Sir, Pakistan is very crisis situation is this countries and support to social sector organization, different donor projects and livelihoods, skills trainings, infrastructure schemes to support in especially remote areas in newly merged district areas in North Waziristan, South Waziristan. This is very important issue to this network and support to this global network to very happy. Any door interested to KP South region. I am very happy my organization, my social colleagues running to 12 years in social sector voluntarily. I am very happy any door interested to South region KPK, especially newly districts in North Waziristan, South Waziristan. This is my short abbreviation in my introduction, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Malik. I was in Pakistan for 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So
in Islamabad?
No, in Peshawar.
In Peshawar. Peshawar is my city. This is the flower city in Peshawar.
Okay.
My hometown in Peshawar, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Any chance to visit to please contact me, sir.
Sure, sure, sure. Inshallah.
Future,
Sure.
future.
Yeah,
inshallah.
sure.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Thank you, sir.
Dandy, your quick introduction. Dandy. Dandy, you are muted. Okay, then Dr. Binod Kumar. Binod Kumar. Can you introduce yourself? Quick. No. So Imo Boni you Imiri. Actually is in video also. Can you introduce yourself? Sorry, I couldn't pronounce your name well. Yeah. You are muted. You are muted. You are muted. Can you unmute?
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Professor Emuo Bonuvi.
Okay.
I'm glad to be here. In this section, I don't know if I'm going to speak, but I'm supposed to speak on the significance of reforestation, the Nigerian perspective. So I look forward to speaking when it's my turn. Thank you.
Thank you. We have
Yes, just to clarify, you will be
yes.
speaking in this session.
I will be speaking this section.
This session?
Hello?
Yes, what?
I didn't hear you properly. Am I speaking this session or the next one?
No, this one. This is for reforestation. So you are invited here. So thank you very much for being with us.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So we have Mangiram Adana. So can you introduce yourself? Mangiram. So finally, my brother Pacific Malik. So can you introduce yourself? And he is our moderator for today also.
Yeah, good morning and good afternoon to everyone. I don't know if you are hearing me there.
Yeah,
yes,
we are hearing.
Yeah, I'm Pacific Malik, as the moderator said. I am an environmental consultant and the program manager of one NGO here in Democratic Republic of Congo. I don't know if everyone know where is the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We are in Central Africa, just beside the Sudan or Kenya or another country as Uganda. Yeah. I am an environmental consultant, as I've said. I am working with my NGO in reforestation. We are sensitizing so many pupils in schools, in the community, just for that matter. Yeah, perhaps after I will talk about that thing when I'll be presenting my slide. Thank you, and I'm very, very, very happy to be here. And thanks the Dr. Renuka and all of people who is connected at this time.
Thank you. Thank you. So anyone missing for the introduction? So you can voluntarily introduce yourself. So anyone missing? So I try to read all the names, but if I miss someone, so please voluntarily introduce yourself. Yeah.
I think we have Professor Khale, if he would like to introduce himself.
Professor Khalid, he already introduced, I think, Professor Khalid.
Okay.
First. Yeah,
all right. Yes, sorry. Then, yeah. Yeah, I think we have done most of them.
Yes.
It's okay. When they speak and if they want to take chance to introduce themselves again, they can do that. But here, Mangeram has mentioned about himself that he's President Association for Promotion Sustainable Development from India. And he has mentioned that in the chat.
Okay, thank you. So
Please go ahead.
Victoria has some problem with the net, so she couldn't speak. Actually, she's also a team lead for today, this reforestation team. So now we start. So I would like to request our Dr. Renuka, the founder of GSFN, to give a welcome speech and give brief introduction about the team. So why we choose reforestation team for today for this session. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Thank you very much. I will just start with my vision and about GSFN, first of all. That is like a prayer to me. So we will start with that. Despite very significant development gains globally, which has raised many millions of people out of absolute poverty, there is substantial evidence that inequality between the world's richest and poorest countries is widening. Today, the world has become more complex, and poorer countries have experienced significant economic and social development. However, the inequalities within countries have also been growing, and some commentators now talk of a global north and global south, referring respectively to richer and poorer communities which are found within and between countries. There are many causes of these inequalities, including the availability of natural resources, different levels of health and education, the nature of country's economy and its industrial sectors, international trading policies and access to markets, how countries are governed and international relationships between countries, conflict within and between countries, and a country's vulnerability to natural hazards and climate change. So most importantly, researchers are called upon to address the barriers to climate science in the global south. These culturally diverse nations of global south are united by common threats to their sustainable futures. Challenges faced in creating collaborations, partnerships across national borders and academic disciplines. Through Global Sustainable Futures Progress Through Partnership Network, we want to play a leading role in creating an inclusive, collaborative, innovative, and engaging platform for early career researchers and like-targeted stakeholders, including startups and entrepreneurs, supported by experienced senior researchers and business leaders, where everyone can share in their research, innovation, visualization, and enthusiasm in parallel to network success. Our fundamental objective is to create a strong research environment, building to a multidisciplinary and multisectoral team of endogenous professionals that would be capable of pursuing and utilizing participatory and integrative approaches in solving public and environmental sustainability problems. Therefore, our priorities are empowering and capacity building, working with researchers to empower communities and individuals, increase independence and support to those who need it, give researchers and stakeholders the legacy of sustainable practices, fair and inclusive, improve economic and social and environmental equality, pursuing development which offers fair distribution and access to good quality life and working conditions, Networking and engagement provide an innovative and global-wide platform to make global sustainable futures progress through partnership network, an effective and well-connected network, transforming traditional society systems to more sustainable systems. And above all, it is sustainability. So, co-create sustainable and resilient development pathways to secure sustainable futures for all and everyone. So, the key focus is mobilization and engagement, building a community of practice, creating a strong leadership, and producing a critical mass of good practices. 800 coordinators from 105 countries. Thank you very much for listening to this. Of course, this was 6 months after we started GSFN, and today we are more than 7,000 coordinators from 175 countries. So I think I'm very glad to, get support from so many people and very committed people like you who are all present here. And they are present time by time. If I write an email asking any help, I immediately get, 3 or 4 times responses that I would have expected. So I'm very glad to be, be part of something like this. With today's theme, which is reforestation, I think the significance of reforestation will be definitely discussed by everyone here. And what I really want is that is publicly and also like at a political level, it has been accepted that that is a way or that can be a solution to our climate change and to balance back into our carbon emissions and come back to the normal. That is what we want to have, which is 1.5 degrees centigrade. So that is a necessity now, and therefore we have to put it in place. What is missing here is that we don't really value the forest in a sense of our economy or whatever we do are essentially coming back from the agriculture and forest, because even when we use our land for agriculture, that also we have taken from the forest. Okay, so we are changing the land use, so ultimately it comes from the forest. And therefore, we have to understand that that forest reserve, which we want to have, if we want to sustain ourselves, we must replenish, or we must get that percentage of forest back to balance our, carbon emissions. And that is the biggest message I would like to say. Each one has to do their part in it. And I would look forward to hearing all the stories and all the concepts that you have to share today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Renuka. So I would like to request Mary from Nigeria to have some opening remarks. So is there, Mary, Dr. Renuka?
Yes, I believe it is Emo.
Emo? Okay, I don't.
Yeah.
That yeah.
She mentioned, no, she was invited to speak. That is what I think her name is. I did see Mary, but 1 second, let me check out. Yes, we can invite her.
Okay. So, Mary, I'd like to request for your opening remarks.
Yeah, exactly. We can invite her. Let me see her name. Yeah. Emoboboni Emehi. Are you here?
Emo Bobemi
Yes,
Emiri. Yeah,
she is
she's
here.
here. Yeah. Can you unmute? She's here, but
I think,
okay.
yeah, maybe when she's ready,
Yes,
we
yes.
can invite her.
So I would like to request now our brother Pacific Malik to take over as a moderator for today's session. So Pacific Malik, it's over to you. Thank you. Pacific? You are muted, Pacific. I think he has a problem with internet. I don't know.
But also we need to check, do we have other speakers on board? Otherwise, we can take individual speakers.
Yes, yes. Actually, we have 7 speakers for today. So there's 8. So including Imobo Via. So actually,
Whoever is present, we can take them.
yes, yes, yes. So Dr. Kaha, are you here? Who is also a speaker for today? Vincent, also a speaker today. Is he here today?
No.
No. Sehihu,
No.
he's not here. Michael, Editom, Ok.
Let me call upon these people, like I will say in the chat.
Yeah.
If we see if we can. Otherwise, we can go with Pacific as a speaker first.
Yeah, Pacific is our moderator as well. So otherwise, I can also do.
But because we won't be able to get on the panel discussion, we can invite individual people to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ambassador Itop, you can start. Otherwise, he's here.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Please. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly and loud. Please carry on.
Okay, fine. I want to speak today on the importance, the introduction to reforestation in Nigeria. Before I start, I just want to mention something that happened last night in one of our local radio stations. So a presenter was, in fact, there was a situation in my country. ExxonMobil is exploring some part of my country. And there is a forest reserve where they are doing exploration. And the community within that place were dragging a certain reserve that is there, a forest. And what the governor of our state said when he went to that place to broker peace, he said that reserve does not belong to any of the community fighting, that it belongs to the government. And he said the government wants to allow that place to be there for carbon credits. So that narrative, that conversation had dominated our media space. So speakers, professional experts have been invited to come along and speak concerning what the governor says or have said about that place. So just last night, on the radio station, the caller called in and said that it's totally against whatever is called carbon credits, anything that will cause our nation, Nigeria, to conserve a certain part, reserve a certain part as a forest for the purpose that they can use it for carbon credit, that is not part of it. He doesn't want it. He now said that how do I put it? The Europeans are deceiving us because while they have deforested their country, move into technology, produce all manners of weapons, produce all kinds of industrialize their nations, have brought in civilization, urbanization, emits the highest level of carbon into the atmosphere. We are being deceived to look primitive. That is what caught my attention. I tried to call into the radio program to correct that impression, because it was a wrong notion that caller was trying to propagate, that forest or reforestation or forest reservation makes us look primitive.
Yeah, were they able to
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yeah, we are hearing you. We're hearing you. Thank you.
So the wrong notion is to think that, or make the general public think that forest reservation or reforestation makes us look primitive. So I have to try and call in, and I called into the program. I called into the program to dispel that notion. We are not primitive if we reforest our environment. We are not. I told them that technological advancements need to go side by side with environmental conservation. Because if we are going to live to enjoy the advancement that we have brought in to technology, we need the environment to be safe. We need to check our air quality. We need to check our water quality. We need to put on check our soil quality and all other aspects of the environment for us to live. And now, one of the things that will help technological advancement to be a life-saving, innovation for a people is proper environmental protection through reforestation. For instance, in Nigeria, forests in Nigeria plays a vital role in carbon sequestration, habitat preservation, and sustainable livelihood for local communities. They regulate the water cycle, prevent soil erosion, and support rich biodiversity. So if we are going to live in a nation or live in an environment that there's no natural water flowing, or there's no quality water for drinking, if we are going to live in an environment that there is no other habitat, we don't preserve the habitation, our livelihood is not going to be sustained. We're going to see a technology that we are not going to live long to enjoy. So that is what happened when I called in to try to dispel that misinformation. It's not primitivity to reserve a forest. And I want to believe that it is not only that one caller that have that belief that if there is a forest, now that forest is because the place is primitive. It's not. It's not. It's not. So in Nigeria, we have the challenge that, with deforesting our forests. One of the challenges, population growth, so rapid, as now, like yesterday that Prince Assis was mentioning, we are now 230 million. So we are growing very fast. And this population growth will demand a lot of natural resources to survive upon. It will be a lot of demand for agriculture, demand for land, will put pressure on timber for us to be able to bring infrastructure for health, for education. And all this will lead to widespread deforestation. So we need to, and another one is that unsustainable logging practices, illegal and uncontrolled logging activities have stripped many forests, disrupting ecosystem. And like yesterday we were arguing, we're trying to put it forth that government, before the government of Nigeria, is not enough to say we are the government. Okay, if you want to come into my country and get, briquettes, okay, I'm going to do as an investment. It's a talk. We need to do it. While the citizens are now beginning to uncover the commercial aspects of life, the economic aspect of life in terms of exports. We are now trying to export a lot of things. The Westerners are coming in requesting so many things from Africa. And people are building commerce around that. And we all know that when something involves economic benefits, environment will always suffer because no regulator will be so strict to ensure that regulations that will protect the environment are strictly adhered to. Because everybody, because of the seemingly, or the much talked about impoverished situation in Africa. So we are so keen on economic benefit of everything. In fact, we fight any regulation that want to bring in, that we perceive will bring a shortfall or disrupt our economic activities. We don't support regulation that wants to protect anything. So further regulation disrupt economic activities. So we can throw in Africa, our psychology is that we can throw in everything just to make economic gain at the expense of anything. So here we also, another challenge to our forest is land use. So we convert forest to farmland, we convert forest to settlement, and other development has reduced Nigeria's forests significantly. But however, government is trying so much to put much effort in reforestation. Like the Nigerian government has, I think I read somewhere that they have launched a program to plant millions of trees and restore degraded forests across the country. But this is, like I was trying to speak with Aziz yesterday, the Prince, because of the political aspect, the political nature of our country, Nigeria, and Africans. Like this number that I'm just reading here now, the Nigerian government has launched a program to plant millions of trees. It could just be a political statement. Could just be something that is in the mind of someone, and handed over to a political structure. Before you know it, this is just, being heard of and not seen. So these are the situation in our country. But however, I know that there are some barriers to reforestation. One of those could be or is funding. So securing adequate financial resources large-scale, long-term reforestation project funding. Funding has always, including the nations that are involved. Funding is always a problem. Why is funding our problem? We always look at two areas that affects us in area of funding. One is the area of priority. The people leading our nations in our continent, where lies their priority. That is where you're going to see enough funding. For instance, in Africa, what is paramount to the leaders is their lifestyle. And in that, you see a lot of fundings. They can fund their lifestyle. They don't ever cry shortage of funding when it comes to their lifestyle, their welfare. So that's why you see a president among impoverished people, you know, having about 100 cars in his motorcade or fleets. You know, so, but when it comes to other things like the environmental protection, if this thing is not there, that's where they will say no funding. We don't have money. That's number one. Priority is the reason we cry of funding in Africa. Where lies our priorities? Where lies the priorities of the leaders? What is it that they take very important? And I've mentioned one, that it is only their lifestyle that is important for them. And as you see them funding. Another problem for Africa that we don't have funding for things is that we are not the only one causing the degradation in our continent. Africa, as I speak to you, is something like should be on a global table that has attracted global interest, which is one of the things I mentioned when one of the guests was speaking. I can't recall her name right now. The lady, with due respect to her, from Wales. So I was trying to say that the problem of Africa is that we have been so much destabilized. We are so much still being controlled. Our resources, we are not the final arbiter of our resources. Typically in our continent is like, sorry the way I'm speaking this way because I am a Pan-Africanist. I understand that if we are going to better anything in Africa, we're first going to tackle the important and critical areas. So if we are going to be able to take care of environment, protect it, bring in sustainability, we are going to tackle a lot of things other than the environment itself and even the people living in Africa. We also have to tackle people working in Africa, people coming into Africa. Because a lot of degradation. For instance, in Nigeria, there are a lot of areas that there are illegal mining going on. And the government cannot stop it. And this illegal mining is causing environmental degradation, total degradation. No regulation. When something is illegal, that means it is not done according to any regulation. And we all know that the regulation is mostly so it can protect the environment. Regulation is like protecting the geese that lays the golden egg. That's it. If you keep looking for this egg, you must protect the animal that is laying these eggs. But when we now do it illegally, We don't spare the life of the goose that is laying the golden egg. We don't spare. We're interested in the egg that is laid. So that is the reason that illegal oppression in Africa must also be seen as a factor that should be tackled for us, for the Africans to be able to have the environment right. But the great question is, why is there a government in Nigeria and illegal, activities ongoing that involve people from other nationalities? Politics. So this illegality does not give room for, how many CO2 are we emitting? What can we do to restore? Okay, if we are going to say, like Aziz mentioned, polluter pay principles, if we are going to talk about polluter pay principles, and these guys are illegally polluting, how do you get them to pay to remediate all the degradation that have happened out of their oppression? So the larger chunk of that will be unattended. And the destruction of environment that is going on through that project cannot be measured and cannot be remedied. If it cannot be measured, cannot be remedied. How about the human lives, the welfare of the people? Because the environment is not only about environmental protection, there's also social protection. We talk about the GSS, so we talked about that, the welfare of the people, the staffs and those who live around the place where this thing is ongoing. So those are the barriers to effective reforestation. Another one is capacity constraint. Nigeria lacks sufficient technical expertise and infrastructure to implement reforestation at the needed scale. The needed scale there is important. So the earlier on we said millions of trees are to be planted by the government, millions of trees. That's what it should be. That's a needed scale. Needed scale. But do we have the expertise? Do we have the knowledge? Do we have the infrastructure? Do we have the know-how to get this done? Do we even have the political will to get it done? In Nigeria, there's what is called political will. And it's a very important factor to implementation of any policy. Political will. Why political will? Because you are going to step on political interests in most of the project that you want to do. So do you still have the will to push? Because like I said earlier on, one of the things I said is that we are so much concerned with economic benefits of any project than the intended benefits. So if you want to plant 1 million trees or 2 million trees or 3 million trees, which is the scale that is needed for a proper reforestation, and you stumble on the fact that one political godfather, is either using one part of that land for farmland. So you need a political will to make that happen, so that you can achieve the reforestation at that needed scale. So these are the things, the cog in the wheel, that a proper reforestation can be achieved. Another one is land uses. Land uses. So the demand for agricultural land, urban development, and resource extraction often conflicts with the reforestation efforts. You see, so we need land for so many things. So these interests will begin to conflict when you want to reforest in the scale that is needed to be able to sequester the carbon that are emitted through all the activities that we do, that scale. Right now, what government is doing in several places is maybe in primary schools, they will plant trees. In other government facilities, the environment, they will plant trees. But that's not the scale that is needed. We need a forest, and a large one. That being that, we now come face to face with the need of land for culture, need of land for urban development, need of land for resource extraction. For instance, I spoke of illegal mining going on in some parts of this country. So those illegal
You are muted, Ambassador Itop. You are muted. Can you unmute?
Thank you, sir. Am I on now? A call came in.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
All right. So the next one is political instability, conflicts, and security issues in some regions hamper the ability to carry out and maintain reforestation initiatives. Conflict, like I did mention in my introduction, so the communities fighting for that portion of land that is a forest, they want to use it, they want to clear the forest, they want to use it for habitation, they want to use it for farmland. That is what they want to use it for. That's why they are fighting for it. And sometimes too, when forests are set up in a place, that thick forest becomes a hideout for criminals and kidnappers, hoodlums. So it hampers the ability to maintain the reforestation initiative. So if we are going to maintain that reforestation and the place has been inhabited by criminals and hoodlums, kidnappers, what do they call all these people, terrorists, it's difficult for that forest to be maintained, for it to give maximum results as expected. All right. So finally, I want to bring my way forward. Sustainable reforestation strategies. So we need a comprehensive planning, developing long-term evidence-based reforestation plan that consider ecological, economic, and social factors. Social factors very important. Social factors very important. Recently, the World Bank came in with social factors in environmental protection. In environmental assessments, it's going to be environmental and social assessments, because the environment will not exist without the people. So we are also going to be as concerned with social factors as we are concerned with the environmental factors or economic factors. We have to show equal concern. We know that this plan that we're developing for reforestation brings into consideration the well-being of the people. They are going to farm. The people are going to farm. So how are we going to get the forests and allow them also have farmlands? They also wouldn't want to be primitive. They wouldn't want to look primitive, like someone calling to a radio program, like I mentioned, and began to feel that we look primitive if we go into a reforestation campaign. So we are not going to allow them to look primitive. So the plan is going to encompass ecological protection, economic protection, and social protection or considerations. So the next way forward is, I feel we are going to have a capacity building. That means we are going to invest in training, we're going to invest in technology and infrastructure to strengthen Nigeria's ability to implement and maintain reforestation projects. Maintain is very important. That's the sustainability of that project. That forest is going to be very important. And for that to be, there's going to be high level of security arrangements. Yes, so that the forest will not be habited by hoodlums, terrorists, criminals, kidnappers, so that the forest will not turn into kidnappers den, where they live and terrorize the community. All right, lastly, but not the least, sustainable financing. We're going to securing diverse, stable funding sources, including government budgets, private investment, and international climate finance. Now, importantly here is that government needs to put reforestation in their budget. Should be a budgetary provision for reforestation to bring back forests that will help sequester the carbon we have emitted so far. So we must be in the budget, reforestation. Also, private investors should go in to invest in forests. Yes, investment in forests can help that an investor to export briquettes. If it's an investment, there are trees in the forest that within 6 months, apart from briquettes, timber. I mean, this is an area of investment that we also need to let private investors know. Currently in Nigeria, you have so much investors in the hospitality industry, have the politician, but in our local communities. For instance, in my local communities, the politician invest so much in they invest so much in they invest so much Okay, are we there?
Yeah, you can continue, sir.
Okay. They invest so much in hospitality industry, so we need to also bring the awareness that private people can invest in forests. Yes, they can do that. And finally, international climate finance. So foreign bodies also have to come in to help finance reforestation in Africa and Nigeria. Thank you very much. I yield my microphone.
Thank you, Mr. Itop. So we have our moderator now, Pacific Malik. So you can take over, Pacific. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir, for this presentation. I think we all understand what our brother was talking about. Now we will take 5 minutes for questions. If there is one, you can put your hand up, and we will give you the place to ask your question. Yeah, if there are people who have questions, you can just hand your.
I have not spoken. Have I been called?
Yes.
Yeah.
We will call you soon, just after this question answers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. If there are people who has questions, you are welcome, all of you.
Just for 5 minutes, yeah. Yeah. Anything?
Yeah, for 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no question.
When we don't have any question, I can give some comments.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ambassador Ito, I think you have spoken from heart. this is the problem where, you know, we all are facing at the moment, in the sense of local communities are facing this problem. Individual prosperities is increasing. The priorities of leaders are increasing in their own personal enjoyment or personal individual needs, and the community needs are suppressed or maybe not given that attention. And the political will is missing, or it is at very low level. And that is not new to just Nigeria, but most countries, I think. We have seen that, especially in developing countries. One cannot enjoy like a fleet of more than 10 cars, while when you want to give a call to their community that stop using cars. You know, it is such a diverse, I mean, a very, very wrong message. Like, you have to walk the talk. Whatever you want to do, you have to follow. And I sometimes also, I think that, you know, we should measure the carbon emissions or carbon footprints of leaders so that they know what are they emitting and how they can decrease. And there is a huge need of that, like it is an urgent need for them to get educated about it. And I think even whole political arena has to get educated about this climate change and sustainability strategy, what they need to do. There are plenty of helps coming to them from the bureaucracy and the advocates around the world. But I think decision making is very not so straightforward, or it is very complex. And again, their political will to change is a bit of challenge. Of course, we also know, we appreciate that the transition is not easy. We cannot tell anyone that, okay, stop using this land for your agriculture unless we provide them an alternative to their living. So I think you have rightly spoken from your heart. I have captured your few points, and I think you have done a very good job, very good justice to our summit today by presenting your views. And thank you very much. And also the case study you mentioned about, like, carbon credits cannot come at the cost of communities living. And that is very true. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We thank you, Dr. Onuka, for that comment, and we think that everybody understand what you were talking about. Now we are continuing our summit. We invite our brother Abba Bashir. He's from Nigeria. He also have some points to share with us. I don't know if Abba Bashir is online.
Sorry, may I intervene, Pacific? We need to call upon Emyobo Winnie first.
The one for empowerment.
Yes, and then we can continue with Abba Bashir. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, please. Yeah, I think she's online. You can talk. Thank you. You have I don't know, 5 minutes. Go on.
5 minutes.
No, you can take your time. Please
allow her to take her time.
Yeah. So around 20 minutes for your presentation, 10 to 15 minutes for your presentation. Yeah. So it's 5 minutes for like question answer. So if there is no question, we can move with other presenter. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
But also, you please give introduction of yourself and then continue with the matter what you want to present.
Okay. I'm Professor Emwobonuvie Mary. I'm the sub-dean of the Faculty of Agriculture in the Taraba State University, Taraba State, Jalingo. I have been, oh Lord, now I've lost my...
We can see your screen.
You can see my screen?
Yes.
It's what I was trying. I wanted to share my PowerPoint presentation, but I
No,
don't know.
We are not able to see your PowerPoint, but we are seeing some note as a
Oh,
Word
no,
file.
I want the PowerPoint.
Okay, then
Why
yes.
can't my PowerPoint be
Yes,
seen?
now we are seeing the PowerPoint. So you can.
This one?
Yes, that's correct. Make it
Okay.
full screen first. Make it full screen first.
Full screen. How
Yeah,
do I do
on
that?
the top. On the top, go on the top right-hand side. Still on the still go on the right side.
Right side.
The square.
This one?
Click on the square. Yes.
Okay. Is it
All
okay
right.
now?
And now you have to click on slideshow. So if you go on the bottom right.
Bottom right.
Yeah, and you will see. Yes, go down just there. Yes, next to it, towards right. Again, next. Again, next.
Yeah.
And yeah, click on that, please.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yes, perfect. Perfect. Please carry on.
Yes. And speaking on the significance of reforestation from Nigeria country perspective, I didn't know that we have a lot of people from Nigeria speaking. But introduction is the next one, I think. Nigeria's forest cover has diminished in extent and quality. According to the International Forestry Review, historical accounts have put our forest estate to be about 600 kilometers squared in 1897. That's a long time ago. In 1960, it was 30%. Today, according to the FAO, is about 10%. It is declining every day due to indiscriminate deforestation by the political class who do not know the importance of forests, unsustainable agricultural practices contributing to land degradation, deforestation. And well, yes, I was saying our present rate of deforestation is about 3.5% to 3.7% per annum. That was in 2000 to 2010. This translates to about 350 to 400,000 hectares of land yearly, which is even more now. Forest ecosystems offer physical, biological, and chemical benefits. These include conserving soil, controlling the hydrological cycle, that is timing and volume of water flows, protecting water quality, and maintaining aquatic habitats. It also prevents disaster like floods and landslides and moderating winds, conserving also biodiversity, storing carbon, which mitigates climate change. Sociocultural services functions of forest cover, nature-based tourism, and ecotourism. I think the other speakers have mentioned a lot of the benefits to communities and to combating climate change. The issues are that we have neglected the forestry section. The last speaker mentioned that we don't have the capacity to reforest our forests. I disagree with that. For 45 years now, I have been graduating students from forestry departments in several universities. And the issue is political. In this country, in Nigeria, you have in the Federal Ministry of Environment, there is the forestry department there, who is in charge of everything to do with forest. You also have the department in all the 36 states, including the Federal Capital Territory. These people have been trained in the act of forestry. which, given the opportunity, will do massive afforestation. It has been done before in the 70s. This department is still there. So my talk today will be afforestation in Nigeria using the green bond example. Green bonds are debt instruments intended to encourage sustainability and to support climate-related and other types of special environmental projects. Specifically, green bonds finance projects aimed at energy efficiency, pollution prevention, sustainable agriculture, fishery, and forestry, the protection of aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems. The initiative, clean transportation, clean water and sustainable water management, restoration of degraded areas. In December 2017 and June 2019, Nigeria issued 2 green bonds with 10.69 billion and 15 billion respectively. It was heralded as the most ambitious initiative of its kind anywhere in the continent of Africa at that time. Nigeria was the first country to raise a debt instrument for the sole purpose of financing climate-smart mitigation and adaptation projects. The initiative was to fast-track Nigeria's low-carbon development pledges as enshrined in the Nationally Determined Contribution (NDC) document submitted to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and as well create massive job opportunities for the citizens. I must comment here that most of the forestry graduates are without jobs right now. Most of them, about 80% of them. According to a source from the Department of Climate Change at the Federal Ministry of Environment, 1.99 billion and 1.22 billion was earmarked for the afforestation program in the first and second series of the green bond issued in both years, respectively. This money was given to the National Park Service. The National Park Service received 431.1 million in 2 tranches, 225.3 million and 207.8 million between 2018 and 2019 for the implementation of afforestation and restoration projects within support zone communities of the 7 national parks in the country. This is the picture of the national parks in Nigeria. Down there, I'm going to talk about Cross River National Park, Okomu National Park in Edo State, and Old Oyo National Park. So the two this job was given to contractors, Hamcor Global Services Limited and Suarez Global Resources Limited. They were awarded the contracts for the reforestation. The government gave the contractors 5 months to complete the work, while the timelines for the trees would take 3 years to be established. Key findings. I hope. Yes. No, I think I've jumped to one. Yes, less than 5 years after the full implementation of the core afforestation projects, funded via proceeds of the bonds, the project suffered major setbacks because they were poorly implemented. The project was unsuccessful because of the following: lack of professionalism. Tree planting contracts were awarded to individual firms with little or no afforestation experience. 2, species used were agricultural tree species and not forest species endemic to the various areas. Poor awareness campaigns and lack of community participation. For you to do such a massive afforestation, there must be campaigns long before, there must be environmental impact assessment, which will take care of the soil, the water, the air, and the community socio-economic impacts, so that these communities are well trained and are well involved. They are made to participate as if the project is their own. There was nothing like that. Lack of or inadequate needs assessment. That's what I just said. Impact of what this afforestation will do to the communities, because they are the custodians of these forest estates that are being planted. They also, because of lack of professionalism, the seedlings were planted late. These seedlings that were used, agricultural tree species, were mango, oranges, guava, and so on. These are not forest species that should be used for such afforestation. There was also fire outbreaks, youth restiveness and communal clashes, as the ambassador mentioned. There were droughts. Nigeria is beginning to experience a lot of droughts and flooding because of the climate change. Farmers no longer know when to plant, because the rains either come late, and when they come, they are so fierce, the winds are so fierce, they are not able to do proper planting. Late planting, which I have mentioned. Then, these reasons are not in order of importance, but I think corruption and lack of transparency and accountability is one of the major issues that made this project fail. These contractors that were given this job made it impossible to be assessed. That is, they will come in a kind of clandestine nature. They are not transparent about what they want to do and how they want to do it. This huge amount of money has been spent. Nobody has been asked to account for it. Ironically, with Nigeria's failure to establish wood lots and economic trees for climate change mitigation through proceeds from the green bonds issued, the country has also failed to achieve the 4,938 tons CO2 emission reductions and the 8,579 estimated job creation within this period. Am I in conclusion already? Yes. Conclusion. Reforestation is supposed to address deforestation and strengthening of carbon sinks to address climate change, which is upon us. These past 3 months in Taraba State, where I'm situated, have been hell on earth, averaging about 41 degrees centigrade every day. We are not equipped to adapt nor mitigate this type of extreme heat. It is said that forests are the lungs of the planet, but Nigeria has deforested her lungs, and very soon she will not be breathing. The state I am in is one of the states in Nigeria that has rosewood. The Chinese came here the past 5-6 years and massively deforested the forest, cutting away rosewood to their country. This was brought about, this is another example of corruption and non-accountability. Every day I stand at the major route from the hinterland and you will count about 50 trucks of rosewood being scattered away. We have become very responsible about our environment. We don't care about what our actions will produce. As the ambassador said, there needs to be a serious and countrywide campaign on environment, on climate change, so that we become, knowledge is power. Most of our people don't know the consequences of what they do, especially when it comes to the forest. The campaign, I agree with him, a massive campaign that can be done through the Ministry of Environment, the Department of Forestry, in all the states. If this money was given to the state departments and to the local government area, I think there is a forestry. I remember there was once I was campaigning that there must be a forestry seat in all local governments with someone who graduated from forestry, so that when things like this are being done in the local governments, there's somebody who has the capacity and the know-how to carry out this project. We will soon stop breathing. And the failure of the Green Bond project in the 3 states discussed here is a double tragedy for future generations, because the Nigerian government have to repay the debt for mismanaged fund, and secondly, the communities and Nigeria as a whole, and indeed the world, will be confronted with the negative impact of climate change, which the Green Bond is supposed to effectively and efficiently address today. We need a strong accountability. People have been saying this, to make sure that future green bonds, if any, because I don't think that we can get any free bond or climate investment after this. I have taken 3 states. We have 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. If these 3 states are example of what has happened in all the 36 states, then we are in really deep trouble. But if we want to achieve the desired results, the capacity is there. People who know what to do are there. There are forestry students.
I think you're muted. Muted. We can't hear you.
Are you there?
She lost network.
Yeah.
I think she lost connection or
Yeah.
so we have to wait up for a few seconds and let's see, she will be online. What do you think,
It
Dr.
was
Ranu?
about to conclude, so I think a very, very impressive presentation. It also highlighted problems, but also offered solutions. And there is something to learn, that yes, capacity exists. People know the solutions, but the political will, even the community presence, community engagement, accountability, responsibility taken by the community, all is there, but it needs to be still more prominent and scalable and, you know, integrated for the same purpose. So I think that is a good message she has given us. So thank you very much. We can continue with another speaker, or if you have any questions, you can ask her when she appears again.
Can I make my presentation?
Yeah,
Please,
Pacific will
we have
take the lead.
we have another speaker from Nigeria who was pointed after this presentation is Abba Bashir. If he's present, we can begin. Then after the Shehu Akintola will be after Abba Bashir. After Abba Bashir, are you there, please?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah.
Can you
So
see?
we are waiting for you.
Okay. Good
Just
morning. It's great to be here with you this morning. My name is Abba Bashir from Nigeria. I'm a Sustainable Development Goals advocate. I'm also a member of International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War. So addressing for this purpose of this presentation, addressing deforestation and strengthening carbon sink, I'm going to talk to you about deforestation and its effects on the human health and the way forward, and also how we here at Katsina State, how we have played our role in deforestation. I'm going to present a slide and also show some pictures. So let me share my screen with you. Please tell me if you can see my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, Abba, we can see it.
Okay, so
yeah.
By means of introduction, since mankind stepped on planet Earth, before mankind stepped on planet Earth, the Earth was green and breathing was harmless, and there were a lot of trees and vegetation until mankind decided to be cutting down trees and burning fossil fuels, and that led to an increase in the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and that has caused many of the disasters and calamities that we are facing now. So in order to address this inequilibrium, mankind must now come back to his senses and plant more trees and stop increasing the carbon emission. So I'm going to start by defining some terms. Deforestation is the purposeful clearing of forest land, and it's also known as forest clearance. So it has to be purposeful. When maybe trees are being brought down by a natural disaster, a tsunami, or an earthquake, it's not called deforestation. It has to be a mankind-caused event, like cutting down of trees for timber and other things. So reforestation is the action of renewing forest cover by natural seeding or by artificial planting of seeds or young trees. So it can be by natural seeding or by artificial planting, and this is what we are aiming at. Generally, in the whole world, we have reduced amount of trees and vegetation compared to before. So we have to start planting trees, and we don't have to wait for the government. We have to do it at individually. We don't have to wait for the government. Everyone should try and be planting at least one tree in his garden, his or her garden, or in his community. So carbon sink. Carbon sink is a natural or artificial process that removes a greenhouse gas, an aerosol or a precursor of a greenhouse gas from the atmosphere. It has the ability to take more carbon than it releases. And this is a positive thing. Example of carbon sinks, we have the oceans, the trees, and the soil. As I move on into my presentation, we'll see the effect, how the vegetation serve as carbon sinks. And we need more carbon sinks because there are a lot of carbon dioxide. We need things that can remove that carbon dioxide because of the effect it has on the ozone layer, which I'll explain later, and the carbon pool. So the carbon sink is part of carbon pool and is a component of the climate system that has the capacity to store, accumulate, or release carbon dioxide. So why reforestation? Reforestation is required in order to prevent or reduce global warming, as trees through the process because trees through the process of photosynthesis, they take that carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and convert it to oxygen and sugar. So the next slide is okay. New forest also helps prevent soil erosion and desertification. So whenever we plant trees, these trees, they have a process, they're autotrophs. They produce oxygen and sugar through the process of photosynthesis. So, and it's like symbiosis. Human beings need oxygen to breathe, while trees, they need carbon dioxide to form their food. So there's a diagram here, as you see, the trees, they use the light energy, water, and carbon dioxide in order to form oxygen and glucose. As my video shown earlier, I'm sitting under a tree because I'm talking about deforestation, just to show you the importance of trees. And I'm actually enjoying the cool breeze and breathing in oxygen. And the effect of this carbon dioxide on the human health. This carbon dioxide, normally in the atmosphere, we should have at least a concentration of 21% of oxygen. But when this carbon dioxide, when we are burning trees and fossil fuels, when we are cutting down trees, we are increasing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And that carbon dioxide is among the gases that destroys a layer in the atmosphere called the ozone layer. That ozone layer protects the human beings from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. There are 3 ultraviolet rays of the sun. We have type A, type B, and type C, among which type B is the most dangerous. It is said to be associated with skin cancers and other malignancies. So when this ozone layer is being destroyed, that ultraviolet type B will now have access to come down to the earth and have effect on animals and also on human beings. And also, due to some man activities like mining, we are also destroying the soil. Soil is a carbon sink. It helps to absorb the carbon dioxide. And also, these human activities like mining, they play a role in the development of occupational lung disease. There are some lung problems that we get when we breathe in bad air, like silicosis and other things. So now this is a diagram that shows the carbon dioxide in parts per million that has been released into the atmosphere from the year 1850 to the year 2020. So on the left-hand side, you can see the sources, carbon dioxide sources like coal, oil, and gases, and also land use. So these they help in increasing the atmospheric carbon dioxide, which is, as I explained, how it's damaged the ozone layer. And you have the carbon sinks like the ocean, the land, and the trees through the process of photosynthesis, how they absorb that carbon dioxide and give us oxygen for us to breathe. So you can see the parts from in 1850 from 280 parts per million to greater than 400 parts per million. And that's a lot. And if care is not taken, really, planet Earth might not be habitable to human beings. And we might have to look for other alternative sources like maybe Mars, Jupiter, but I don't know. So now what's the way forward? The way forward is that we have to be encouraging people to plant trees. We don't have to wait for government. We don't have to wait for projects. At our individual level, everyone should try and see that he has maybe set let's say a record that he or she is going to plant 10 trees, maybe in the next 1 year or something like that. So you don't have to wait for the government. Government has other things. Though it's also its role to now help in reforestation, and we have to reduce cutting down of trees. Seriously, we have to find alternative sources of all these timber and things that we use trees for. And also we have to encourage use of alternative sources of energy like wind and solar energy. That's renewable energy. The more we burn fuel, coal, and wood, the more we are increasing the amount of carbon dioxide, and the more the atmosphere is becoming toxic to the human being, and the more we are breathing that toxic atmosphere, the more we are come down with some lung disease. So we have to also preserve the carbon sinks like the oceans. We have to stop dumping refuse in the oceans, and we have to stop destroying lands, and we have to grow trees. I'm going to show you a picture of a project that we did in Katsina State, because I'm a sustainable development goals advocate, and we planted more than 100 trees. Let me show you. Can you see the pictures? Hello, can you see the pictures?
Yes, we can. We can.
Yes.
So you can see this is Katsina State. This is my state, and we did a project as a sustainable development goal advocates along with my other colleagues. We planted hundreds of trees, and you can see as I'm zooming in, this is just 100 of plants. Sorry, we are planting plants, and these are some students that accompanied us so that we can carry on from where we stopped. And this just last year, you can see we are planting as part of the SDGs, because SDG 15 talks about land, life on land, trees. So you can see we planted many trees. You can see this just last year. So I think we don't have to wait for the government. Individually, we have to be planting trees and not waiting for the government. So in conclusion, we need to plant more trees and stop cutting down trees. Only then will we maintain an equilibrium of nature on planet Earth and make it habitable to mankind. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Doctor, you wanna add something?
I would like to invite Ujjwal to comment.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
it was a good presentation. So, Abhay has shared about how we can stop deforestation, and he has emphasized on planting trees. So definitely, like we need to consider those things. So in regards to, actually, I did have some presentation as well, so I'd share the time as well. So in regard to the planting trees as well, so I think we must think more on the local species rather than exotic species. So that will help, because sometimes when you bring the exotic species, actually I'm a forester as well, so as a forestry point of view I see, so at the time we need to consider more like local species, that's native species, so native species to Nigeria, that will be really good. And deforestation, that is a big issue. So as per the presentation with earlier presentation as well, so it's a big issue in Nigeria. So there's some solution as well. So we also have bad experience of deforestation in Nepal. So I'd share a very short case. So how we can mitigate those deforestation, and how we can improve reforestations, as you say, involving social, government, private companies. So that's we discussed. So really, it was a good presentation, and thank you, Ava. So if there are any other comments from other people, Dr. Renuka, do you want to add on something?
Yes, certainly. The message, what he said, is like we can do at our individual level, do what we can. And that is so important. I always say it is our responsibility. Every citizen, every country must act on it. So thank you very much for that message. And he has also shown the practical results as well. So very interesting. And at this age, you are emerging as a young leader. And I think that should be the trend for young people to understand sustainability. They should be the brand leaders for sustainability. You know, they have this power to change, and they should take leadership on changing our current situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Pacific.
Yeah, thank you. We thank our brother Bashir, and now we are. If there are questions, addressing to our brother, we have to just raise hand, and we'll give you some minute to ask question, and he will answer. Yeah, there are question. If there's no question, we yeah, our brother Ujwal. Or we begin
Hilary
by
has a question. Hilary, actually, Hilary has a question here.
yeah, Hilary, go on.
Yes, hi, good people. Actually, it has been a good presentation, and from my perspective, I can say that planting of trees will enable us to combat the crisis that we are actually experiencing. Because if we can advocate and actually engage our community, it will be able for us now to foster the increase in our tree cover, and not only planting, but we should also ensure that we nurture those trees. And by doing so, we shall be able to achieve the sustainable development goals that we are all yearning to do that actually. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We had another question from William. William, are you there? Can you ask a question, or if you want, you have comments, you just drop it. Williams, are you there, Williams?
I think
it's not.
William. Yeah, William. William, you are muted.
Yeah. So as William doesn't answer, we will take our other speaker, while thanking our brother Abba Bashir for his presentation, and hope that he will continue in that straight in his community. Yeah, we welcome our brother Shehu Ankitola. I don't know if I'm pronouncing well, because I don't know really the language. Yeah, our brother Shehu, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, if you have slides or presentation, you can share your screen, so we have to see what you're talking about. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, good morning, everyone. I hope my slide is clear. You can see my slide?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's been a beautiful day. We started yesterday. These presentations have been fantastic. I salute the earlier speakers. Mine is coming from the point of view of presenting the other side. Yes, what's more or less what leads to deforestation before we talk about reforestation. So I present to us here the scenario of wood fuel energy in fish as used by the artisanal fishers in those states. And, you know, fish is very important in our diet, particularly for those who are above 40, they will say eat more fish. And then because of so many issues, you will see that the fishers have to depend on the forest, the mangrove, for their to preserve the fish in most times. So the challenge has always been there that for the small-scale fishers, they represent 70% of the fish production in Nigeria. So they are very critical people or stakeholder. But you see that when you look at Nigeria policy on energy, Nigeria policy on climate change, this sector of land use people or stakeholder are often neglected. So the objective here is to look at the various means by which fishes are preserved, particularly in the small-scale sectors of Nigeria. Typically, this sector, like I've said, are the one producing most of the fish we eat. And then to see how one can determine the biomass of energy in terms of what energy is being consumed in the effect of trying to do traditional fish smoking. So data were collected over 1,000 fishers across the agricultural division of Lagos State. So by means of open questions, interviews with fishers or fishmongers or fish smokers, a lot of information was gathered about the type of firewood they use, the socioeconomic profiles, the amount of fuel they also consumed in the processing of the fish. So then proximate analysis of the fuel wood were done in order to look at the moisture content, the ash, fixed carbon, volatile, and calorific values were determined. So emission of from the woods were also determined so as to look at the total biomass emission based on fuel wood quantity that are produced, and the calorific values were also determined. And then the greenhouse gases were also looked at, the CO2, the methane, and the N2 nitrogen oxide that were being produced consequent on the wood that are being used. So findings shows that this is the typical scenarios that play out in most of the divisions, the fishing areas and ports where fishing are taking place. Then most of the time they use the traditional ones, the mud and the drum that are shown. And in terms of the wood, you'll see that the variety of woods, fuel woods are used. And this depends, of course, people will use resources that are nearest to their community. In Badagry, for example, they use a lot of Cocos nucifera. The Cocos nucifera is the coconut palm, and the skull. Once they get that, once the coconut marketers use the deposit it, the fishers go there, collect it, and then primarily use it for burning, for doing fish smoking. Then we also have the cashew tree also being used, but this is transported into the state, into that particular division. Then we have the Kaya ivorensis, which is called the Lagos mahogany. In Ekpe, 80% of what fuel is the Lagos mahogany. And that's, of course, as we will see, is impacting on the forest of that community. Then you also have the black afara, which is called Terminalia ivorensis. This is also very common in Ikurudu and also in Ekpe. Then we have the cedar kokoti, which is also very common in Ekpe and Ikurudu. Then we have the hardwood. About 90% of the wood that the fuel wood in Ikurudu are usually this type of wood. So telling us that the fishers are very critical because they are using and fueling, they are causing some form of deforestation. So the proximate analysis of the wood is shown here. Most of the time, the fixed energy, the calorie value, and the ash content are shown. So you will find out that here, across the states, like I said earlier, the tendency is to use what is available. And this is crucial to the planning and development of strategies for afforestation, whatever exercise we will embark on to to ensure that this practice is reduced. So in conclusion, is just to tell us that often in our energy nexus, we should try to give consideration to the fish smokers or the fishmongers. Often they are not always factored into part of those that contribute to loss of the forest. Fish generally is a very important activity within the nexus. They are often neglected, and there's need for us to take them into account when we are planning our forestations exercise. Thank you for listening.
We thank you, sir, for your presentation. And if the doctor has some comment to do, and she will give you some comments, and we'll pass for the question and answer session. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for presenting this research, and you know, we are looking forward to understand more strategies. I think Ujjwal can give more.
You can go ahead first, Renuka. You can go ahead, and I will go later. First, you go ahead. Yeah.
And no, I highly appreciate. Please carry on.
Okay, so thank you very much, Sehu, right? Right name, Sehu. Yeah. So it was a good presentation. So I didn't realize that like in Nigeria, like for fish processing, you are using the fuel wood. So in Nepal also we use a lot of fuel wood, especially for cooking. So it's very interesting. So I just want to know like what percent of fuel wood that you use for fish processing in Nigeria? What percent of like how many percentage? So how much fuel wood do you use to do the fish processing in Nigeria? And are you looking for, like, I have seen that like you are promoting farmers to grow more trees for the fish processing. So do you have any other alternatives, like like we do, like biobriquettes? So we make biobriquettes from the weeds. So that can be some options rather than using the trees. So better to use, because you wrote about acacia catechu, a lot of trees are there. So besides using that tree, is there any possibility to use making biobriquettes, those kind of things, using electric, because now energy is coming out, this big issue of energy. So whether we can use electric. So in Nepal, like, we're promoting inductions. So that can be some option for that. So do you have an idea of that, and what are you doing that area? Yeah, that's some of the comment and some. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your comments, and very incisive comments. Yes. In the country, because of the best form of preserving fish is to use the cooling system, ice, refrigerator. But you and I know that because we have issues with our energy in terms of power. So this is often not available. Even in the urban area, talk less of the rural area where these fishes are often found. So 80% of the time of the fish that are landed are rather smoked. And this puts pressure on the forest, on the mangrove. But unconsciously, these are not being factored into issues of planning, issues of energy equilibrium, and the rest of them. So there are alternatives being promoted. We have the solar system being suggested. But of course, at what scale are these happening? They are not happening at the scale that can lead to reduction in the total emission of gases. So we also have, people have mentioned the need, like I said, to go back to cool system, the ice, which is the best. But that is not happening and may not happen very soon because of the struggle. We still generate maybe maximum 4,800 megawatts of electricity. And of course, far, far below what is needed even to keep the household, talk less of now going to. So the alternatives are there, like I said earlier. But you see, because of policy issues on lack of integrated means between policy, advocates, and implementation, we often run into a problem and do not take into cognizance all of the bits, the small bits that adds up. When you talk about climate change, we also always think that it's the industry, the big guys that are causing or generating the gases. All other activities are also adding up. And then when you look at agricultural issues, they will take agriculture. But I just decided to investigate this, to bring to fore the need to also look at modernizing the fish processing or preservation, to deliberately introduce alternative energy system into planning, the solar. There are some solar hybrids that are being made, but at what scale? The process is rather slow. There's need to get almost every sector of the economy to understand how important it is, this sector, in the issue of deforestation. It's contributing, but often people are not taking note of this. So I hope I've been able to answer your questions or your comments.
Yeah, thank you, it's good. Thank you.
Okay, Ambassador. Okay.
Ambassador has a question.
I think the ambassador has a question. You can intervene. Etoko Bonga, you there or not yet?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to thank the Prof. Kintola for that wonderful research. I'm looking into, how we smoke our fish and how that affects the forests around us. I want to believe that a conference like this can bring some sort of solutions to that, because Amatia has just mentioned how they produce briquettes in their community. So if he shares that knowledge, that can be also a better alternative to using wood to form the smoking and preservation of the fish. So if he, in the end, led us into how that is done in his country, we can see if it is something that can be, duplicated here in Nigeria. So that it would be as if after the conference, Professor had come out with new knowledge to produce briquettes for those who are preserving their fish. That's a wonderful one. Then also my observation or comment that I want to make around was also concerning Bashar. I think Abba Bashar's presentation and the earlier prof, that presented, the lady that, was out there for Bashar. I want to say that I thank him for tree planting. Tree planting is good. But there is something I like Prof. Akintola said yesterday. He talks about cut crossing, that environmental protection or, sustainability is cross-cutting. That's what he said. That's the word you use. You know, so if you plant trees on your own without the involvement of the government, there is no sustainability in that. The reason I'm saying this is, if you're using a public place, I am the director of Eco Defenders here in Akwa Ibom State. We've planted several trees in public places. But the experience we have is that if you do this without involving the government can get up one day and just decide to do something else in that space. And because they were not part of, that project, so they can cut down those trees. It happened, something we have seen. Because government are the one to do policies, they are the one to regulate, and they are the one to provide security. So if you, without waiting on government for funds, but you have to get them involved in the project that you're going to do, so that by tomorrow, if they want to do something, they will spare that spot. They will truly know that that tree there planted in those spots, the purpose that they are planted for, and they will choose other place to implement any other projects. So if you just move in as we have done into it, before you know it, even without them providing security, it is government that will let the people know that cutting down trees unauthorized is a crime and punishable by law to achieve sustainability. You can just plant, before you know it, the tree grew up, before a time somebody else just came around and fell down the tree. And no crime, nobody persecutes. So it lacks sustainability. So governments must be involved for us to achieve sustainability when we are planting trees in our own scale. Now, my comment on the earlier professor that spoke, from, I think, Taraba State. Taraba. Yes, she said something. She said a lot of things. Thank God that she came up with the green bond project that fell in 3 states in Nigeria. And I'm so happy that she also listed reasons and factors that enable this failure. 1, unprofessionalism. So that takes me back to what I said about that we don't have experts, professional hands. So now that even if we have graduated many students from forestry department, in as far as they are not effective, they are not effectively engaged. That is tantamount to the lack of professionalism. Because I see no reason government will want to go into such a whooping sum of money projects without considering professionalism and giving that project to contractors or consultants that have been verified. Such amount of money gone down the drain. So because of what we have in our country. So it is time to go beyond mere presentations and talking to tackling the root cause of why we can't get things done, both in our country and in Africa. Because like I said in my presentation, before we begin to tackle anything, environmental protection, reforestation, climate change, sustainability, we must begin to tackle the root cause of why these things have been degraded in the first place. So corruption, she had mentioned corruption as one of the reasons, and lack of transparency. She had said that nobody till now can call these companies, these contractors who address are known, and they are known very well, and ask of what happened to the projects that we gave you to do. Nobody can call them. Why are we not calling them? Political will is not there. Because if you go inside, if you investigate further, you're going to see that one other political influencer is also involved in that project. And in fact, at the end of the day, you will see that the sum extended finally to the contractor to finally carry out the project was not even enough to carry out the project. The rest of the funds have been distributed to other people who have no interest in the projects. Because there's no reason somebody would go and buy agricultural seeds and plants in a project that was supposed to be there. Why not use a forestry seed plant? So these are the things that are bedeviling our country. And these are the things that are giving us all the problems that we have. So those are my comments on the two presentations. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. If I have to...
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for your comment. Yes, I understand the perspective Ambassador Etop is coming from. But you see, one person that do not want to many times talks about our negatives. Everywhere, politicians are selfish. They are the same everywhere. But the community is very critical. You talk about tree planting and somebody coming to say, okay, that land can be converted to another use. It's because most of the time when we do projects, we do it in silos. We do not try to bring everybody on board. For example, the government, no matter how strong they have, once the environmentalists begins to make noise, they will be cautious on their actions. But when we do programs, we tend to stop at just the technical parts. We are not looking at those who are very critical too as well. Those who are in environmental orientation, the environmental advocates, the NGOs, the CSOs, and the rest of them. We must sensitize people like that to be on board in our programs that we do. So it's not all the time that the issue is science. Often it goes beyond science when we are talking about implementation. The technical knowledge is often there. Nigeria as a state, I don't think we lack technical knowledge. The briquette you've mentioned, there have been so many smoking kilns that have been designed. There are so many. Even in my university, my group developed a kiln that uses solar system and then use the briquettes too, in order to minimize the extent of climate, the greenhouse emission. They are there. But you see, there are always failure at one end or the other. And that is why I've always said that when you look at our policies, they are often not done in a way that are inclusive of every sectors. We are doing program, how many of the journalists who are into environmental organizations, who are advocates, how many of them are aware? So I think one of the take home from this summit is, which I've said yesterday, is the need to have an inclusive approach to issues of our sustainable development, to the issues of climate change, and all sorts of activities we do. We often do not plan in a way that include everybody, every necessary stakeholders. at different levels. If no matter how reckless the politicians are, they still respect the CSOs, they respect the NGOs. So if we are doing programs, we need to bring people who are standby, who are going to, who have the means, like the way the GSFN is coming up. It could also be a platform to reach out to people about issues that could destroy or affect project implementation in the country. If we continue to talk about the politicians, I tell you, we'll go nowhere. For me, I've always tried not to factor them into issues, but to prepare how to counter them in terms of including those who can make the noise. You know, not everyone of us is able to advocate what it takes to advocate. Look at what GSFN is doing. Just mere use of technology, it's achieving its objective. We're having summits. So let's bring in experts outside technical expertise. We need that. We need to bring people who are advanced in environmental engagement, environmental advocacy, and the rest of them into whatever we do. The CSO, the NGOs are critical. So I think this is the way we can go. The funds that are the green fund that the Prof mentioned, it can be revisited. There are those who can make noise about it. We don't tend to make enough or bring people of such into our programs. So we need to have a system in place that have people outside technical expertise who are vast in advocacy, who are vast in human rights protection, and the rest of them. So this is the way I think we can go. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I will like to make just a last comment. I have been listening to everyone, and very interesting discussion is going on. And thank you very much for everyone to put their perspective. I think Ambassador Itop is making a real good point that we have not been able to buy in the government for the local community projects. And what Sehu is saying, yes, we do not want to worry about who is still not in, but we can bring them in by such showing the examples and the success. And actually this platform, as you already identified, is for that purpose. Let us begin from the bottom down and let us show the capacity what we can do, and that can bring them. But of course, as Ambassador is still saying, you know, the government will, the powerful will, political will is needed and will be needed for these things to go on. And but what Shehu has shown us is if we provide an alternative, then that can work. So we must focus on the alternative. What are the alternative pathways? We must show the choices for the people, and that should be easy to follow and take forward. And that is what you have done through the science-based research. And that is a very good way forward. So thank you very much for everyone to have this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ranuka, for your comment. I think our brother has understood what we were talking about. So now we have to go with another participant, another speaker. I don't know, Ujawal, is there another one who is
as per my list, we have Dr. Kha. I think he is not here. We have
Korea.
Vincent. Vincent is not here. So Michael. So I don't think so. He is here. Abba already spoke.
Already.
Yeah.
I think
So
we left just you and me, I think.
yeah, I think you and me. But before that, anyone like want to speak in regards to reforestation are welcome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have also my brother Mikhail Utapu. He's from the Democratic Republic of Congo. He joined us now. I think we work together. I think if he's ready, he will just take 2 or 4 minutes for speaking a bit. Are you ready, bro?
Yeah,
Brother?
thank you for the flow. I don't know if you are getting me. Are you getting me, or I have a problem
Yeah,
with
we're
my
getting you,
micro?
brother. We're getting go
You
ahead.
are getting me?
Yeah. We can hear you. Yeah.
I saw
Okay.
Hilary raise hand. So just a second.
Yeah.
Ask whether he wants to put a comment or speak, then we can invite him afterwards. So what was it, Hilary?
Yeah, hey, good
Sure.
people. Actually, I have listened to the presentation, and actually, it's a great presentation. So, when you talk about reforestation, it's all about being regenerative. What are you seeing in your environment? And we have actually identified the problems in our community. So, what I'm encouraging and I'm doing actually, we should now be inclusive. We should embrace holistic approach and inclusivity in everything that we do. And you people are doing a good thing, and with this we are making the world to be like a globe, and I know we are going to achieve a lot, and we are going to make a sustainable future for our planet. I do encourage us to continue with this deal, and we shall be able to make a sustainable future. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Please carry on.
Yeah. Thank you. If you may allow me, just as I've been just saying, no, it's a wonderful session. I joined a bit later, but I've been interesting about a different presentation. As I said before, I'm Michael Kakule, the Chief Executive Officer at Academia Group DRC, a youth-led organization working to support young people through beekeeping. About our today topic, that because this forestation, we couldn't do that without the implication of children. That's why we have festival to see how we can boost the environment education in the midst of children, so that they may have to grow up with this culture, and this is gonna be facilitating people to live in harmony with our nature, to live in harmony with our planet. So it's gonna be something like which it couldn't be recommending, such as those who have been saying no, planting trees in public places. It could be something like to require just someone's order, but in case it could be as a culture. Authorities, they could know that all those public places, they could be really well managed with plants, and they could have a good plan about that, and to could facilitate us just to go beyond. That's why I encourage to for more program to be involving children in this education, so that it might facilitate the coming generation to be involved better than. Such as we are doing beekeeping as my career, which I did from the age of 11 years old up to now. I'm 33. I learned this from my father, who is a beekeeper from 74 up to now. So with beekeeping, we can't run beekeeping in a desert. We have to make sure that we have planted the trees, and to facilitate ourselves to get more value from our forestation. So that's why I could encourage people to join a green entrepreneurship through such activities like beekeeping or agroforestry. It could facilitate us to gain more money, because just people are talking about credit carbon. But by now, how many years will you wait so that we may get this money? Although when we could integrate different sub-projects, they can facilitate local communities to be involved, and to facilitate them to get time to wait for what is just planning. That's why I have to invite all of you to join us on 20th on May during the World Bee Day. We are organizing an event, and it's gonna be in presence and online with French speaker and English as well. It's gonna be shared with Share Screen Africa from South Africa. Is gonna facilitate us to translate so that people may just understand, because we'll have to have people from Morocco will have to share, they'll have to share their experience in beekeeping in their country. And from Kenya, we have just Henry, who is gonna ourselves will gonna show which innovation and the contribution of intellectuals to promote green entrepreneurship via beekeeping. That's all, and we have labeled to share the term of reference for everyone who is interested about such event, and you are most welcome.
Thank you, brother, for your intervention. I think we'll be present. All of us will be there to share and to understand what the crises we are facing nowadays. Yeah, and Ujawal, what do you think? You can begin, or I'll be the last, because there's
Yeah.
no
So
no
what I'll do
speaker
is
who
I will begin with my presentation. So after that you can do, and if we have someone speaker coming in, then we'll request to speak. Is that okay, Dr. Renuka? So what do you think? Is that okay?
Yes, please continue because we have to finish by 1, so we have
Yes.
very limited time now. So
Yes,
please
yes.
continue. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Dr. Renuka. So I have a presentation as well. So this is more about sharing our experience on reforestation in Nepal, especially. So as you know, Nepal, as shared when we started as well, we are a very small country, and we are in between India and China. So we are very rich in biodiversity. So we have a very small country, but we have a wide range of biodiversity, starting from plain area to high mountains. Mount Everest is in Nepal. So if you drive like half an hour, you'll get different environment, different climate, different weather. So that's unique in Nepal. So and we have an issue as well. So here I'm going to present about our reforestation approach. So that I will share. And in Nepal also we also having issue. Actually, I've heard that there is a big issue of deforestation in Nigeria. So we do also have, but not much big like that. Before we used to have in 1970s, 80s, we used to have big issue of deforestation. So at the time, our forest went up to like 27%. Now we are going up to like 52%. So we are reaching at that level with reforestation. So that I want to share with you. And these days with the climate change also, we are having some issue with the deforestation. Before it was more with the people, so illegal trading, those kind of things, and cutting trees. But these days with the climate change, especially with the forest fire, so it is also having some issue, a problem, and challenge in Nepal, especially with deforestation. So it's not more with the man, but the natural. So that's the thing. So I have a very short presentation about the case of community forestry. So I'll share my slide. Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
But
so
you need to put it on PowerPoint.
It's PowerPoint. Yeah, I'll do it in PowerPoint. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So can you see my PowerPoint now?
No, it is appearing, but it is appearing the another screen, not the one you have to share.
On the screen. So let me close. Let me share again. Can you see now?
Yes, again, but you need to click on the top left-hand side, PowerPoint slideshow. on the top, go on the top, left-hand side.
Here?
No, we can't see now. So,
yeah.
So it is not allowing to share, but you can go again.
Yeah, I can speak, I can share, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
maybe you can back on the
yes.
PowerPoint where you were sharing and share the another screen, maybe. Click on the PowerPoint on the bottom right.
Right, this one, right?
Yes, click on that and let us see if it is happening.
Is it coming now?
No, you haven't clicked yet. Click again.
Can you see?
No, but anyway, continue with this then. You can change the slides as you go. Still the same problem.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I'll begin with our history. So in Nepal, like we used to have a big issue of deforestation around 1970s and 80s. So actually at the time, all the forest, even now is our forest is under the government, but at the time, totally like managed by Nepal government. At the time, like like people also have less education. So the deforestation was a big issue at the time, very big. So the forest coverage was depleting. So in 1993, Nepal government formulated an act, especially for the community forest approach. So it was piloted first in one of the district of Nepal. So whether it will be a success or not. So 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 with the community forestry, all the forest was managed by local communities. So before it was all managed by government, but later on our government changed the approach. So actually the owner will be the government, the ownership, all the lands, all the forest land belong to the government, but it is handed over to the community. And I just want to share that the approach of community forestry in Nepal. So this community forestry is a very participatory approach, and the forest is managed by the local community, local people, not by government. Even the government owns the forest, but it is managed by local communities. So most of the responsibilities are given to local people. So at the time, our government invested a lot, building capacity, provided training, did a lot of workshop, and did a lot of piloting as well. So that's how it worked. So the community were more focused on conservation. So conservation is very different. Conservation is like use without abuse. Means like they can use the forest, but they can't abuse. So that's the approach for conservation. So government went in that approach. So it's more focused on conservation, not like a protection like national park or like that, but more focused on conservation. We do have national park as well. So it is very owned by government. So the government changed the approach, more focused on community-based and conservation approach. In community forestry, so there are some key principles. So most of the decisions are made by local people. So especially for harvesting, especially for collecting fuel wood, especially collecting for what do you say, litters from the forest, and even for hunting as well. So it is decision made by people. It's not by government. So it's more like a participatory approach. Government work very closely with the local communities, village leaders, religious leaders, all kind of people, like people with disabilities, and the decision came through that people to manage the forest. And even like before, like the all the resources from forest, it used to go to the government, but later on they had developed approach of equitable benefit sharing, not only with the community, but in Nepal, like we have different kind of like ethnic groups. So earlier, like only the high caste people, they used to have more resources and more power. But later on, with the community first approach, the resources were distributed to all the people. Because if you see in a community, like if the high caste people only get the fuel or timber or fodder, so definitely other castes will have some issue. So that's why, and they used to do illegal cutting of the trees. So that's why the government made like some kind of equitable distribution. So every year, like 2 or 3 times, they open the forest to collect the fuel wood, to cut the trees, or to collect the litters. So that's they made that approach. And they also build the capacity, of our community people on sustainable forest management. It's more about managing forest, so especially on silviculture operations. So it's very scientific. So they introduce those things as well. So that makes the forest healthy. And now the community forest is very successful in Nepal. So it is a very strong institutions. So in Nepal, so it's all owned by community, and there are more than 22,000 community forests in Nepal. So it's all owned by the people, and they have their own governance structure. Different community forestry group has different governance, their own structure, have their own governance, and it's very supportive from government, especially for policy making and legal framework. Especially all the forest that community forestry groups, they have to develop a forest master plan. So that is supported by government. So they made action plans. So what they do, when do the harvesting, what is the rotation, when do the plantation. So with that, so they started the growing regenerating trees, or doing some plantation as well. So it's more successful. It's with the totally government support. And as said, the capacity building of the community people, especially on technical sites, especially on silviculture operations, silviculture management. Yeah. So as I shared, like till now, there are around like more than 22,000 community forestry groups. They are actively working in Nepal. That's why our forest coverage has been increased. So as I shared, in 1970s, 80s, so our forest coverage was decreasing. So it came up to like 27%. Now it is around like 50%. I have heard it's 54% now, 40 to 50%. And with the community forest approach, there is a increasing forest and our improving the biodiversity. So before, like when there was less forest, there was no good biodiversity. The wildlife was like depleting. So now we are seeing more wildlife in the forest, and we are seeing new species, and even the native trees are growing now with all this conservation approach. So in Nepal, actually, we are focusing more on native species rather than the exotic species. We have very bad experience of having exotic species, and bringing Nepal, it has depleted environment as well. So we are focusing on our natural forest. So it's growing now, and supporting the biodiversity conservation as well. And still we have some challenges with this community forestry approach. So right now we are not able to value add our community forestry approach. Even like there is like these days we're talking about the carbon market. So we're not able. We are doing very little on that. So we are not going to the market. Even like the products. So we are not doing properly. Especially in Nepal, we are very rich in herbs in the forest. So we are not able to value add and market. So if you see, last time I did one study in community forestry. So in community forest, there are more than 300 wild vegetables. So we are not properly manage and value added products. So if we can manage and value added products, definitely the people can income more, improve their livelihood. And still there are some conflict, especially between the community, not within the community forestry, but within the other groups. So there are some conflict of resources about demarcation of the forest. So there are some conflict, even for the water sources, even for the trees, that there's some conflict. But it's not a big, but still there is some conflict. And definitely the climate change, as I share, the climate change is impacting our ecosystem and forest as well. Then the major issue in Nepal is like forest fire. So it's difficult to manage because we have a lot of mountains, so we cannot control the forest fire. So right now we are working on that as well, especially like building awareness about the forest fire, to the communities, and preparing the forest line, fire lines. So those kind of things we are doing still, but still though it is challenge. And most important is involvement of women. So if we do like a community forest, the role of women is very important because they are very close with the nature. In Nepal, mostly the women, they go to forest to collect fuel, timber, and foders, litters, water. So that's why we need to engage women. So that's very important for us. So in Nepal, we engage more women. And they are the decision maker as well. So we engage women in any decision making, any engagement, and the consultations. Even we are engaging women, especially for the forest management, especially for the silviculture operations. If you see in Nepal, like a lot of women are leading the forest, the community forest in Nepal. And there are still some improvements needs to be done in Nepal. So still like the community forest, we need to focus on improving their governance and institution as well. So we need to introduce different technologies because we're very limited with the technologies. So we need to introduce different technologies about monitoring forest and managing the forest, the GI system, GPS systems. So ITP systems we need to introduce. Still, we need to promote the forest management because now we are growing forest. Because it doesn't mean that we don't need to cut forest, but we have to cut the trees as well to manage the forest. So we are growing forest, but we have some problem as well. I know, like with the wildlife, with the growing different kind of weeds, unnecessary weeds. So that's we need to consider still. And still, we need to improve the collaboration between local communities, especially on effective forest management. And we have some lesson learned. So with a lot of experience working this area. So the first thing is the community ownership and empowerment are the key driver for successful forest management. So we need to focus community. We need to give power to the people for the power with the people. So it means like democracy. So we need to give power to the community. So that's very important for us. And as I said, we need to have more collaboration, and we have scale up community forestry. So community forestry is like we need to value add. So now we have good forest coverage, we are not value adding. So we need to link forestry as for the livelihood security as well. And we need to do continuous monitoring evaluations of the forestry program, especially with community forestry and its impacts. And the conclusion is like community forestry in Nepal has made significant progress in promoting sustainable forest management and empowering local communities. That's very positive things. And we have some challenges as well, especially on forest conservation. And as I shared earlier, so this need to link with the livelihood improvement as well. So that's we need to do. And still we need to invest in community forestry, so to achieve our sustainable development goal. So as a whole, what we consider is like a forest is like open bank. So it gives us oxygen. So it take the carbon dioxide as a saving, and it gives up the oxygen. So that is, and other is like like from forest, if we sell the tree of the forest products, so we can make immediate money also, income also. So that's why in Nepal we consider forest as a open bank. So still we need to do, but this is some successful, it's very good success, the case in Nepal about the community forest. So a lot of people come to Nepal and learn about how we do community forestry. So we have other approach as well, not only community forestry, we have family forestry, we have ethnoforestry, we have social forestry, and then we have private forestry as well. So that's how our government is promoting. So we are very good on that. So that's why we are increasing our forest coverage in Nepal. So in 80s, so when I knew that like the forest coverage was getting less, but now it is increasing. So this is some of the case that I want to share, and that might be helpful for Nigeria as well. So still we need to do a lot, but this is some of the scenario that I want to present to you about reforestation, how we are doing in Nepal. Yeah. Thank you. Any questions, any comment?
Yeah, I do have a question. Can you hear me?
Feel free to ask me if you have any question or any suggestion or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. You talked about the community forest in Nepal, and you said that there are too many people in the local community who are managing that forest. So why is the government doesn't appropriate that fight to protect forest for the community? Why do they left that job for local communities?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Actually, before, it's not like that the government is totally giving forest to the community. The forest is owned by government. It's only managed by community. If the community, they don't manage forest well, the government will take over. So we have different kind of, like we have national park, we have protection area. That's all by government. All the forest is owned by government, but only the management is done by community. So that's it. So the forest is government actually. So that's how we work. And before, actually, all the forest was also managed by government. So government couldn't manage the forest because they can't go all the part of all the area. So that's the thing. So government has very limited capacity. So they build the capacity of community, and they build the governance, they build the institutions, and they also invested. It's not all government, but we are supported by other donor agencies as well. So it was led by government. That's why it came into our in our act, in our policy. So that's why we got success. Yeah. So if you go in Nepal, if you go, committee will come to stop. Committee will. It's not like if government will come and to cut the trees. Now we have big issue now.
Yeah.
So we are building our roads. We are building our transmitters. But all the committee are coming. We don't want to cut the tree. So that's the thing, you see. So that's why. So that's very important. Like we have to build the capacity of the community. So that's the thing. Yeah. So now government has a problem now. So if you want to make a road, people, they don't allow to cut the tree. So that's a little bit. Yeah, different. Yeah.
So there's no private public partnership for managing that forest. It's only
Yes.
for the local community.
Yes. So that's why we also started now conservation area as well. So one is like community forestry, now conservation area. So we have government has declared a large area with a conservation. So it's managed by community.
Yeah.
So if you enter the conservation area, you have to pay fee, and based on that, and we are very famous. Like we have a Annapurna conservation area project, Sagarmatha is very famous. Like if you Google it and check it, it's very famous. So it's all managed by community, government owned but managed by community. So it's like control mechanism cross. So controlling community and controlling by government is balanced. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I think Sehu has a hands up, an ambassador.
Yeah, thank you, Amatia. I hope I got it right.
Yes.
Amatia, okay.
Yeah.
Good presentation, and thanks to, I think it's a case where government, what we have been saying, and just like what I said earlier, the community owns the resources. And the idea that government can just do anything, it does not hold water. But I like the fact that the government knows its own role. Yes, they own physically, they own the resources, but in terms of the management of their resources, is left to them. So I want to know what is the governance mechanism that make it easy for this kind of government community partnership to function. What other stakeholders, for example, the conflict you are talking about, when to harvest even the forest. What are the roles of the science community? What are the elements that has made this kind of government community partnership to work? What are the enabling governance mechanisms, the rules, the laws, the culture, the tradition that has made this to happen? And then when finally, because I'm from the fishery, and I believe fisheries is crucial to, my last presentation is the end of the chain, the value chain of fisheries and forest relationship. I'm also interested and I'm investigating the role at the upper end, which is if you destroy the mangrove, then the fishes are gone. Because the fishes need the mangrove to produce, to reproduce for breeding purpose. So this is why I've always argued here that the issues of climate change, forestry, and the rest of them, they are interconnected to other, they must be seen as cross-cutting, because if it's not just one end. So basically, I'm interested in these three. One, again, what mechanisms has made the government community partnership to work? What are the roles that other stakeholders, knowledge, people, the science, and then maybe the cultural system or religious system, and then finally, how have the mangrove, the fishers, the fishing community, but Nepal is also on the high side of fishing. You produce a lot of fish. So how has this played out? Because I think there's a lot of lessons to learn in this. And I would like us to also discuss for that. Let's see, I've sent something to your linkage, your link. So I want us to discuss more because of some other interests I have, like I said, on the forest fish relationship. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I would just add 2 things here. Definitely what you are mentioning is important, that what is the investment model? Like why community is trying to invest their management expertise or involvement in such project where government is the owner, and why community needs to be managed. I think there is a very similar model in buildings as well. When tenants are there and the tenant association takes the part in management of the building, and the owners are definitely the owners, but the buildings are managed by the tenants. And there also we have seen very successful results, that buildings lifestyle increases, and it becomes more desirable for people to live in, and so on. So I think that is the model here, but we need to understand like how the payment system or how the economic benefits come to the community. Where are they just volunteers, or are they paid? What type of payment do they get? Is that enough for them to make living and get involved in such project? So those are the basic questions I think we need to understand. And if those things are available, those formulas can be very scalable at plenty of different levels. Thank you very much. There is one hand by Ambassador Ethiop, so you can take that question.
Okay. Thank you very much, Amartya, for your presentation and opening up to us on what is possible in your country. And that speaks clearly to my advocacy. My advocacy is that the community cannot just stand alone and get something done. There will be no sustainability until there is a sort of partnership with the government, because the government will always provide the regulation, the policy, and the security, while the private sector will be the running day-to-day running of that event. That is the model for success. That is the model for success. If you leave something for the government alone, it will fail. You leave it for the community alone, it will fail. But where there is partnership, because there is power the government have, the individual does not have. There is also the technicality and the knowledge, the workability that the people have, which the government cannot implement. So this kind of coming together is what we need for sustainability. Now, my question is, what is the percentage of government's partnership in that method? What do they provide, and what then are the community providing? Because like the Prof. Akintola have asked, this is when we have got to understand what role and who plays what, and to what point is the role of who. That is when there's no conflict. But where these roles are not separated, there could be conflict between the government and the people. And I want to also believe that revenue is generated. Who does the generation of revenue, and who pays what to who, and at what percentage? These are the things that, if clarified, it is a model that can be duplicated, like Doctor have said, could be scaled up in other countries. Thank you.
Actually, these are a very good comment and question as well. So as you say, like we have very successful model, but still we need to improve. As you say, we need to link with the livelihood. So the main is government. So in terms of government, the first thing is the forest is managed by people, and the resource is also for people. So it's done like the government will need to take the resources. Like for example, like government provide especially the technical inputs, technical support as well, and even some the funding as well, especially for the user groups. But now what happens is now the forest user group is more sustained. They're sustained by themselves, because like for example, every year they open for fuel collection, so like 2 or 3 times a year. So actually people will not get all the fuel in free, so they have to pay some money. So they collect in their group, so they are putting that money as well. And next is we have a lot of wild vegetables in the forest. So that's also the poor people, especially the landless people, they can collect and they can sell, but they have to give some resources to the forest users groups, forest users group. So before, like the government has invested a lot, especially for developing their forest management plan, their action plan, and under there also they invested some resources as well, especially for providing like the materials and providing some training resources as well. But right now, if you see Nepal, the forest use groups are very rich now. They are very rich now. So and if there is something wrong in the forest users group, then the government will take over. So if there is some corruption, if there is issue in governance in the forest users group, the government will take over. If you see in some of the area, still the government has not handed over the forest to the people, community, because there is a lack of governance, there's a lack of accountability and lack of transparency. That's why, and government has taken over that forest as well. So definitely in the beginning, so government has to put some resources. So exact I don't know how much, but still more focus on a capacity building and software part. And later on, like now you see, like in some of the forest use groups, they are very rich. They are very rich than the local government as well. They have a lot of resources because they sell the timber timely, not like that, not haphazardly, very well managed. So they have some rotation system. So if you cut tree in one block, next year they cut in another block. So there's a system. So that's why, as I said, the previous speaker, so focus on the forestry students. That's very important. So the forest management is very important. So I do is open bank as well. It's a bank. The forest is a bank, but now we can also look for the carbon credit as well with the forest. So that's the thing. So I think it's collaboration between community people and government. It's not that government all are clean. The political people are not clean, because in our government also we have issue with corruption. So there is a control mechanism and there is a governance mechanism. So there is a joint committee as well. And at national level, we have a big forum for community foresters group. So they are very strong and they advocate with the government. If there is some issue, they advocate with the government. So it's very like a public and government partnership. So now we are including private as well. The private also coming. Like we have private forest now. We have social forest. We have ethnoforestry also. So where we promote more local species only, not exotic. So when do afforestation, sometimes we bring the exotic species as well. So right now we are more focused on having the indigenous species as well. So as I say, the governance resources is very necessary, and the first thing is building the capacity and empowering the people. That's very important. So for that, the government definitely need to put the money in the beginning, but later on. So right now, some of the community users group, they fund the different activities like the water system. They fund to making bridge. You will see the bridge at the back. So for that also, they're funding because they have their own resources. So in the beginning, definitely government need to take the leadership and should have proper evaluation and monitoring and support the groups, and definitely later on they can sustain by themselves. So if you see in Nepal, out of 22,000 forestry groups, almost like 90% they can sustain by themselves. So that's the thing. So they are managing the resources by themselves, and if there is some issue, the government will look after that. And other thing, the local CSOs are also working with community forestry now. The NGOs also working very closely. That's why. So that's why we are increasing the forest coverage, and we are improving our biodiversity as well. That's why if you see the Bhutan, they are more better than us in Bhutan. So we are also going on the same track. So if you see like 20 years, 30 years before, we have big issue of deforestation. So now our forest coverage is being increasing. So that's why it's the government and the people's participation is very important, and the resource should come from both sides, from people also, from government as well. And the first is government. So government should bring some act, some law, some policies, the governance. That's very important. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much for wonderful debate. Now I think we have last speaker, Pacific Malik.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the word. So I have to share my screen now. I don't know if where is this one? I don't know if everybody's seeing it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. Then I'm really glad to be here to share my experience in the reforestation program. I am Pacific Malik. I'm the program manager of Beniver. Beniver is an NGO in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Our area of implementation, nowadays we are distributing some trees to schools, and we are sensitizing local communities in the importance of just managing very well the forest. Yeah. Now today, I'm sorry, I began very far. Yeah, this is the first. Yeah, today I'll talk about the deforestation, the silence crossing. We'll take the DRC case. In the DRC, we have so many forests. For example, in nowadays, DRC home is the second largest rainforest in the world, which offer to a major jewel in Africa. We are covering over 76 million hectares. These vast forests are really vital, also playing a crucial role in the environmental, economy, culture, and the economy of the DRC. Unfortunately, these precious forests face multitude threats. That's what I will talk about in this presentation. So deforestation, I think everybody, every speaker talked about the deforestation, but the FAO definition says that the deforestation is referred to a permanent removal of forests or just clearing trees on a large scale to convert that land for another use. Yeah, for example, that can involve cutting down trees of timber or creating spaces for farms, ranches, or cities, or just extracting mineral. It's a significant environmental issue because forests play a crucial role in our planet's health. As you can see there, the image, there are some image of deforestation in my country. In the second, people usually use that wood for making fuel, for making fuel cooking, the fuel cooking. I don't know if you understand what does it mean. I think Ujawal talked about it, and according to the FAO again, that the data say that global forest covers has lost about 1,000 million hectares just between 2000 and 2020. For example, in 2022, there was a loss of 22 million hectares of forest, which were lost, and that's the same equivalent of 11 stadium of football. You know, it's really a big loss which we are facing here in DRC. Imagine losing 11 stadiums, an area which cover 11 stadium of the loss of forest. So why is here you can see in this image the report of World Resources Institute. It places DRC at the second place. We are losing each year about 16,000 of hectare of forest each year, and that's a big problem. So why is the deforestation happening fastly? The three main causes of deforestation in DRC are: the first one is the small scale of agriculture, the second is the fuel wood and charcoal collection, and the third is the urban expansion of people and of city and as infrastructure development. So agricultural expansion is related driver to deforestation globally, as opportunity, as population rises and the demand of food increases. Vast area of forest are created to make way for new farmland. This slash and burn approach, while providing temporary gains in arable land, destroying vital ecosystem and disrupt natural habitats. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, for example, small-scale farmers practicing shifting cultivation are a major contributor to the deforestation. They need to clear new plots to maintain soil fertility. That means sometimes if they cut trees for a place in one forest, they move to another one because that place is not really it's not fertile. That the fertility has increased. Yeah, as you can see there are some images of charcoal. I don't know if you use it in your countries, but here for cooking, people usually use that charcoal for cooking in the kitchen for food and other things. And so why we say that the fuel wood and charcoal collection is the main reason of deforestation in DRC, because of the high dependence. In DRC, over 19% of population relies on wood-based fuels, primarily fuel wood and charcoal, for their daily cooking needs. For example, each house in DRC uses 50 kilogram bag of charcoal per month, while for this quantity is necessary cut down over around three or two trees of 10 meters. So that means in a year, amount of 24 trees which are cut down indirectly by a single family. That means we are really losing a big part of forest in our country. So now let's talk about some consequences. As you can see there, if each family uses one bag of 50 kilograms, they need to cut each year 24 trees. So what are consequences of deforestation in our country? We can talk about the habitat loss. We can talk about the climate change. We talk about soil erosion. We talk about the water scarcity and the increased risk of natural disasters. Yeah, as we say that the collection of cocoa is a main and a big problem here in DRC, because you know that problem affects so many people and it affects so many area of forest, mainly the park, the national park. For example, National Park of Virunga. Each year they are cutting trees just for making that scaqual. That means we have to manage here so many things to make that will not happen in the future. And what are solutions for deforestation here in our country? The first one is the sustainable forestry practices. That sustainable forestry practices will help us to manage it rationally and to make some spaces for the future generation. Another one is agroforestry. I know everyone knows what is agroforestry. The conservation efforts. In my country, we have an institute for the conservation that manage so many efforts to protect our large forest. They faces so many difficulties, so many problems, and to manage that problem, they have to make their efforts by sensitizing the community. If they don't sensitize community, the community is the main people, the main symbol of what we do for them. So if we reduce also consumption and create alternative solution for the developing country about cocoa, that will help us to reduce that problem, that big problem, the deforestation. So I think that we can also empower local communities. We will also raise awareness and advocacies and support certification programs, invest in reforestation. So another big problem in my community here is the information, the knowledge. So many people are not informed about the problem of forest. So if they are not informed, that will make them doing things which are not in the same role with protecting forest. So if in my country we also have an expression which says no war is dying in advance. So this problem will ultimately have a negative impact on human life, making it a form of dying in advance for the future generation who will inherit that degraded planet. So that means each person who is here have to manage so many things to take that fight, to appropriate that fight and begin to perhaps inform their communities or inform other peoples in that case. So let's understand that it's a matter that concerns everyone, children, young, old, or women. So let's take the ownership of the struggle and let's become the change we want to see in the world, as Gandhi from India said. So what I do concretely in my community, as I said, I am the program manager of an NGO which acts in that area. For example, in the last year, my team we have planted more than 1,500 trees and distributed more than 2,000 trees in school, and all of that we done it for free. As we said, and many people are saying here, we are needing funds, but if you wait for that fund, we can do anything. So that's why I'm encouraging people, and I'm encouraging all of participants of this summit to begin planting trees and to do what they can what can be possible. We cannot looking for impossible things, but we have to make things which are in our efforts. So soon we are on the verge also of setting an ecological line of production chain, which aim of fighting deforestation. In that way, I think that we will reduce the impact of deforestation in the country. So as we just have seen today, deforestation is one of the rise because of poor agriculture practices, but also the need for cooking energy and other causes as urbanization. To deal with this problem, we must encourage reforestation, agroforestry, and above all, inform everyone. So let's always remember that not being informed is sacrificing the planet and the next generation. Thank you for your attention, and if there are some questions, I am here to answer it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your passionate presentation. Ujjwal, you may take over.
Wait. Okay. With this, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I think I've finished. Is my screen always shared?
Yes, Pacific.
My screen is shared.
No.
Thank you. Thank you.
We can see your screen now. So, any question, comments? So how much time do you have? Do we have, Dr. Renuka?
Yeah, we have half an hour.
Half an hour, yeah.
Certainly, I would like to comment. Congratulations that, and especially a very big, important message your presentation is saying that we should not be waiting. Of course, we want everyone's buy-in. We want to go ahead. We want to make it regular, a formal thing that what we do, so that we can get some not only economic benefit, but also some social appreciation, and you can showcase, you can be proud of that, but still we should not be waiting, because that is not possible. If everyone will say that okay, it is somebody's job, then nobody will be doing. So it is our job, and we have to take the responsibility. So thank you very much. And especially when these all presentations, I think today we have got a very good youth presentation here, young people representing their work and activity towards the sustainable development goals. like forestry is one of those, and it is a very important factor, and it will be an important factor in playing in role for our economic capital as well as ecological capital. And we have seen, very fascinating example coming from, different people in a sense of Sehu, and especially from Ujjwal, an exemplar example from Nepal. And of course, as you mentioned, Bhutan is also doing very well, and it is a net zero country, and it has been possible for them because of the community and everyone working together. So thank you very much for very good discussion. If anyone wants to make comment, you are welcome. And if anyone is left behind for speaking, you are most welcome. Otherwise, we can, if Professor Khaled is able to present in half an hour, we would like to invite him to present his talk.
Professor Khaled, you can unmute. You're muted.
Can somebody write to him if he's not online?
Yeah, I think he is not. He's online, but
yeah, maybe
he muted.
he
So-
is having any problem. Don't worry.
Regarding few comment from my side. So
Please do.
actually, this is a very good topic, reforestation, like deforestation. So definitely, we need to increase the forest coverage and soil coverage as well. So the tree is very important. So what I'm doing in Nepal, even for agriculture, we need to combine.
Yes, hello, thank you. I have
go ahead, Khalid. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, I have trouble. Actually, I don't know what's wrong. I was trying to speak. It's mute. Okay, now it's my turn. I can do it.
Yes,
Or
go ahead,
afternoon.
Khalid. Go ahead.
Okay, just a moment. Yeah, I can share my screen.
Yes, you can. Please do.
Just I will try. Sometimes the connection is too slow. I hope it come now. Still not yet?
It is coming. It will come soon. I think it is trying to.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Get it now?
It's trying to share, like it will happen, I think. Started screen sharing, but we can't see the screen.
That's wrong, actually. Also, the same audio was slow.
Is it like, are you having two computers?
No, I have one. I have more, yes, but now I connect only for one.
Okay. Like I don't know. The screen is sharing. It shows, it is telling that the screen is sharing, but like screen share is done, but we can't see any screen.
Khalid, can you click your presentation when you share the screen? I think
I think he
he's
has
off now.
lost. I
Yeah,
think he has lost. We have lost him.
yeah.
Not to worry. You can continue with your comments, and if he appears again, we can give him a space.
Yeah. So what I'm talking about, no, like forest cover is very important. So as like with the climate change also. So that's why like in Nepal actually we are promoting uh trees together with agriculture as well. So we are promoting agriculture also, but it's linked with the trees. So like agroforestry. So that's what we are promoting, and permaculture. That's what we are promoting. So that's very important. Even like in forestry also. So we're talking about like focusing on more like community forestry, but focusing on ethnoforestry. It means like protecting and regenerating the local species, native species. So that is because native species are very much favorable to the local climate, local weathers, and they also uh, help us, no, especially to manage the ecosystem as well, the biodiversity as well. Like, for example, like we used to plant a lot of pine trees. So pine tree is not appropriate for like the ecosystem. So before we used to have our own native species, and uh, we changed those native species with the pine trees. So Pinus roxburghii. So because it has disturbed the local ecosystem and habitat as well. So that's why we are encouraging people to more focus on local species. That is one thing, and other is about the land. Like like as you said, like if the land is barren and it's open, so there will be more emission of carbon as well. So if we covered the land with forest with good stratification, so that's very important for us, and we can also reduce the carbon emission from the soil as well. So that's what we are prioritizing in our work as well. So those kind of things, and actually for reforestation and for these things, so especially it's more about forestry. So we need to find how we can collaborate in future as well. Some of the learnings we can share from here, some of the learnings from Nigeria can share in Africa, other countries as well. We have from Congo, so we can share each other, and maybe like we can have separate some kind of technical sessions, especially on this kind of things also. Like like so we can come up with some good innovative solutions as well. So as I share for the biobrigade, because if you go with solar, because it's come out economy as well, the resource as well. So solar, electric is quite expensive. So if you go with biobrigade, it's really expensive, less expensive. So we can share those kind of ideas, innovations, and we can also bring good solutions together as well. So that's I want to comment. Yeah. So we need to continue this kind of discussion in future as well. Yeah. Yeah. So actually we are doing, but we need to further continue. Yeah, this kind of discussions. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the call out. Yes, certainly. What we can do, and what I'm trying to do here at every summit, that you continue, or those who have joined here today and those who have their own interest of collaborating between each other, knowing more about your technology solutions and helping each other, please get together on your own. I would be very happy to facilitate all your meetings and whatever you would like to do. And then probably we can come again in the next summit with some updates that what you are doing, and let us set up an example for others to see how we can work collaboratively in spite of being around, like in a different our own specific reality is different, but still because our common intense in our common objective is to contribute to overall global sustainable futures.
Yeah.
I mean, to co-create our sustainable future with the help of policies, like social, technical, and practice innovations. We can bring all these together. So yeah, thank you for this call, and I'm happy to facilitate. So you can roll out just a small outline of a program for everyone to get together and do that. Thank you very much. And maybe we will be able to celebrate more when we visit Nepal in December.
Yeah.
And so thank you very much. I cannot see Professor Khaled at the moment, and probably we can invite him in the next session to speak. And I would invite anyone else to give final comments, and then we can close.
Okay, I would like to do that.
Please do, please do.
Okay, please, Doctor, I want to thank you very much for this conference that you have brought to Nigeria. It is really an eye-opening conference. You have gathered experts in your network to try to help us brainstorm on how we can better the environment that we live in. Very important. And having had opportunity to speak in the conference, also alongside with professors who have revealed real data, real-time data concerning our countries is very nice. My observation is that in the end, let us have a position paper where we can use to create awareness from this conference. And also let's have a machinery from GSFN in Nigeria that can begin to run to achieve some of these things that have been said in this country. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful comment. I'm very happy that we can, certainly whatever we have put here, if we just capture that, our position paper will be ready. And well, GSFN is very already in Nigeria, and we want to have more visibility, spatially, to increase the local leadership. And that is where we want to go. I think you have all very rightly mentioned in your future previous comments, that foreign investment, and I'm very, very against foreign investment. And I don't want to repeat that mistake by being me as a foreign on Nigeria. I want to create local leadership. I want you to take the ownership. And I only want to showcase that you are part of that international collaboration. And that is what actually we want to establish. So yes, definitely let us move this forward.
Any comments from anyone? So
I think we have Khaled, and we have 20 minutes. If Khaled want to take over and finish his talk by 20 minutes, we will be very happy to have him.
Yeah, sorry, hello, Dr. Nook. Actually, if we have afternoon, we have sessions again.
Yes, okay, not to worry. You please
I
be
start now from the mobile. I have to start from the computer because my presentation there.
Wonderful, don't worry. I think we can invite Professor Bishnu to provide some comments. He is here listening, and we are always proud of him at GSFN.
So, first of all, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude, Dr. Renuka Madam, founder of GSFN, for her selfless contribution towards the sustainable development goal, achieving sustainable development goal. And I also express my sincere thanks to Ujjwal sir for his continuous support in this program, and Professor Khalid sir and other esteemed speakers, distinguished guests, scholar. Very good afternoon. Today I have joined as an audience, so I have listened many presentation. Today is presented many scholar. It's really a major portion covered deforestation, forest ecosystems. It's of course a very valuable presentation. I have learned many things from there, and also Ujjwal sir also explained their background of the Nepal that I also listened. So in that way, it's really a very prospective and useful program. I grateful to you, all of you, that I have learned many things from this program. Though today I have joined as an audience, so I grateful to all of you. So thank you so much for all of your contribution towards achieving a sustainable development goal, towards building a better civilization across the globe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Vishnu. So actually, we are now in closing session. So we have some way for her as well. So we can prepare some outline and some position paper as well as I said, Ambassador Ito. So finally, so may I request our founder, Dr. Renuka. So he's always encouraging for us and sending a lot of information to us. Yeah, so we go through all the informations and the things that are very important for us. We used to read, go through everything. So we are very much thankful for Dr. Renuka and her leadership. And she's based in UK, but she has more focus on Global South. So we really appreciate for that, and we really we are really happy to have a leader like you. So we'll have more collaboration in days to come. So finally, I'd like to request Dr. Renuka for a closing remarks. Thank you.
Well, I don't have to say much because I have been giving remarks now and then. But certainly, Ujjwal, you have come out as a very, very enthusiastic leader here, and you have done what I really wanted to do from this summit. We had an exemplary leader from Pakistan as well, Turab, who had taken, I cannot miss that name. I must mention his name. He had taken the leadership in Pakistan. Very similarly, there is Professor Yasser and Rania, who took leadership in Egypt. And in Kenya, I must mention Monica, who took the leadership, and Peter from Kenyatta University, who took the leadership. And today here, along with all my partners, I'm so grateful that you made this session very insightful and productive one, and we will go forward. I think we have very progressive outline ahead of us, and I wish everyone should take advantage of this along with me and you, and we can make it possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And actually, next session I will not be able to join, but I'll try. So let's see the time. So I'll try to join the session. So thank you very much, everyone. So have a wonderful remaining of day. So we'll keep in touch. So in future also we can organize this similar kind of session. So I'm planning for Nepal as well. So I'll work with Dr. Renuka for what theme will go for the Nepal. So as you say, we're planning for annual meeting as well. So we can do it in Nepal as well. So we'll plan very systematically for this. Thank you so much, and have a good day, and bye-bye.
Sure. Just one. I saw Abdul Salam Bashir here, and I can invite him to give a last comment if he wishes to. No, possibly no. So that's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you. I will close.
Thank you.
The recording.
Bye.
I will stop the recording.
Bye.